Hey you guys, and welcome to a brand new video. So, I've been away for a while, haven't I? Well, this video was supposed to be released the same day as Devil May Cry 5, but some circumstances well beyond my power wouldn't let me either make it or record it. So, if you want to know a little more of what happened, is that you might want to follow this hashtag. And let's just say I do these videos because they're my hobby and help me get out of my head for a while. So let's discuss what we came to discuss today.
Yahoo!
We are finally getting a new Devil May Cry game. You guys have no idea how excited I was back in E3 2018. I just wanted to play this game and I'm super happy because it looks amazing. I played its demo, looks fantastic, plays amazing. And it's been what, 11 years since Devil May Cry 4? A full-fledged sequel, finally! And I'm glad I'm getting a new game, but aren't we forgetting about something? That's right, the reboot. You know, back in 2013, Capcom wanted to pump fresh air into the franchise by rebooting it. So they decided to collaborate with a team outside of Capcom called Ninja Theory to make a new game, which title was DmC Devil May Cry. No numbers, no bullshit. We were doing a full-grown reboot. The consensus on this reboot is that it's a terrible, terrible game. And it didn't bring anything new to the franchise. But let me tell you something. This can be farther from the truth. According to series producer Hideaki Itsuno, working with Ninja Theory was something amazing. In an interview with PlayStation Lifestyle, they said, "I went to Cambridge once every couple of months to work with those guys, so we learned a lot from them. Those guys are style incarnate, man. What they did with DmC, that art style, those animations, that is real style, you know?" And if you think about it, the art style in DmC 5 is actually more close to the reboot's art style rather than the original anime style that was present in the original games. The combat mechanics is actually like a big combination between the original games and the fluidity of the DmC Devil May Cry. So you might be wondering, why is this reboot so criticized by the public? Well, if you actually divide the whole game into different pieces that compose it, you get something like this. You get gameplay, music, visuals, story, and characters. And you know what? The flaws fall in the latter two. The story and the characters. I don't want to go too deep into spoilers, but let me tell you something right off the bat. Every supporting character in DmC Devil May Cry is super underdeveloped or fulfills one specific role. Either it's being pregnant or being the receiving end of compassion of one of the characters. That's all they do. With the main characters is something more absurd. The main characters of the story are three: Dante, his brother and twin brother actually, Virgil, and the antagonist, Mundus. So, let me tell you something. There's one big problem that the franchise is going to have every single time. So, when you make a reboot, the characters you made and the story are going to be compared to the original games. So Dante is going to be compared to Dante and Virgil is going to be compared to Virgil. What this means is that the game is actually in not a really good playing field, to say the least. Why? Because people really like these characters. So changing them can actually be something bad, especially with what they did in this franchise. Each of the main characters is actually terribly written. For example, Virgil appeared in Devil May Cry 3 and was depicted as this character that had no compassion for humans, was hungry for power, and was always calm and collected. Here in this game, he's still calm and collected, but for some reason he's a welcoming character that takes care of others and actually works with humans, which goes against everything he stood for in the first games. And you know something else? out of nowhere, at the end of the game, he has a superiority complex.
The beginning of the end for the demons. Mankind would be free.
Yes. Free from the demons. The path is clear for us to rule.
What did you just say?
The path is clear for us to rule.
To rule what?
This. Everything.
Which came out of nowhere. In the game, the character is never thought to do that, actually. If you think about it, if you knew the character way beforehand by playing Devil May Cry 3, you might actually see this coming. But in this game, if this was your first Devil May Cry game, you would be scratching your head at the time. And Dante is just as horrible. Okay, let me tell you something. Dante in the original games had this womanizer attitude. He made fun of enemies and he was always smiling. He was this character was like a child inside a man's body. It was fantastic. In this game, he's changed completely. He's like this 20s angsty guy that has like a really foul mouth. He just plainly insults enemies, no jokes, no smiles. It's almost like an unlikable Kratos. His original persona was more talkative, more like Spider-Man, for example, that would banter with his enemies during fights. Here, we've got nothing. We sometimes have glimmers of that, but they get trampled really easily. But none of this comes close to the main antagonist of the story, Mundus. But to understand the magnitude of the problems with the character, we need to understand the story of both the reboot and the original games. So, let's start with the original games. Every single game in that franchise, way before the reboot, had one specific thing they wanted to do. Let hell loose on the earth. That's all they wanted, and the plot was always kind of related to Dante and Virgil's father, Sparta. In every villain tried to do something that would look like this, either opening the gates of hell with a sword to let loose the whole hell there was in it, or imposing a religion in the rest of the world by using a gigantic demon statue. That's all they do, and actually the plots were really good and make you like the game and wanted to play it even more. You know, a plot worth playing. In the reboot, well, let's let Mundus actually tell you the story.
Soon I will own everything worth owning. I will control the world through debt. I have absolute power.
There is so much wrong with this. Okay, first of all, he has control over a bank, CNN, a soda factory, maybe a strip club, and apparently has a president in the country he's living in a threat. And still claims he's going to take over the world. Are you serious? May I ask how? Or better, why are you going through this? Let's get something clear. If you want to take over the world, you will need like internet and alcohol. But actually, why modernize demons? You know, they are beings which their sole purpose in history is the misery and suffering of humankind. They don't care about money or media censorship for that matter. They are about destruction. That's what demons do in almost every single piece of media. That's what they do. There's nothing wrong with it. And even he has the fabled gates of hell right there in his office. He shows it to you. You look at when you're playing the game. But here he doesn't let hell loose. No, he just uses it because, well, it's warm and makes him immortal. That's all he does. The character is terribly written. The story is terrible as well. It's just sad. I mean, the plot just tries to jump and falls flat on its face. It's hard to actually enjoy this game with a story like that. The whole experience is not complete garbage. Let me tell you something. We already said that the director of the franchise thinks that the game is actually really good, and they learn a bunch of stuff by doing that game. You can say that it was like a tech demo for some sort, because see how many things of the reboot the newer game has. It took the best of both worlds, and that's great actually. I enjoy a lot of watching how from one mistake that was trying to reboot a franchise that didn't need any reboots to actually become a continuation of the franchise, but getting the things that were well made. For example, I always thought the visuals, the combat system, and the music were amazing in the reboot. In the newer game, they are taking the same things that made the reboot great. So I think the reboot actually should get actually a bunch of recognition for at least the thing it does. Yeah, the plot is garbage and the story is terrible and the characters are one-dimensional or shitty, but the gameplay is so good you might actually want to forget, because they invented the skip cutscenes for a reason. But that's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, please leave a like. If you want to see more of my content, no doubt subscribe and follow me on my social media at Steffu96. It's in Twitter and Instagram. I'm so glad of being here. I love all of you and I will see you soon. Take care.